What's going on, guys? G2 here. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're taking on a little bit of a field trip. So since the election, well, actually for a while now in my state, we haven't really had the opportunity to go and attend any gun shows. So this is the first gun show that is really kind of open to the public in a little over 6 months. And it's also the first gun show that is being held after the election. So it's not a big one. It's kind of one of the smaller ones in the state, but I wanted to go ahead, check it out, and kind of see what's going on. You know, I'm expecting to see a lot of price gouging. I'm expecting to see a lot of people, and I'm curious to see kind of what the overall feel is right now, because we do have a large gun show coming up in about 3 weeks here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little road trip to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Fitting that our first gun show is going to be held at Gettysburg. All right, so we're here, and as expected, there are a ton of people in here. So are not allowing photography inside for privacy of the other attendees, which I totally understand. So I'm going to try to do a little something with my cell phone when I'm in there, see if we can get you guys an idea as to what we're looking at. And yeah, let's go in there, see what's going on. Well, we spent about 2 hours there, and it wasn't it was pretty big considering the venue. I would say there was probably in the neighborhood of no more than 200 tables. So kind of small on that scheme, but as expected, extremely busy, and the prices were outrageous. So for ammunition, these guys, I think the lowest I saw was $1.15 a round for 9mm. I saw 75 to 80 cents for 223. It's about the lowest. 7.62 by 39 was roughly coming in at about the same at 75 to 80 cents per round. So they were definitely jacking the prices up. They weren't outrageous. The 9mm was out of control, but everything else seemed to be kind of in line with what we would expect. The rifles, and I don't know who buys a gun at a gun show, to be honest. The ARs were going for $700, $800 for your bare bones build like we do on the channel for $400 tops. These guys are asking $750, $800 for them. So yeah, a little high on that end. I would say overall everything was probably bumped up about 20% over what we would normally see at a gun show, which is already inflated because we're trying to make some money. I got a lot of little components for the builds that we're doing: triggers, hammers, trigger springs, things like that. They weren't terribly overpriced, but I probably could have got them cheaper, unlike Joe Bob's or Brownell's, even with the shipping. It was just more so at this point about convenience. And I did find a good deal on some Zastava AK mags, all steel AK mags, for $9 a piece. Brand new, still in the bag, little Cosmoline, little cleaning, and they're going to be perfectly good. Totally unissued military surplus from Croatia, so I thought that was probably the best deal that I found, so I picked up a half dozen of those. And all in all, I would say, not that I was disappointed, but kind of what I expected. now that we're here, I mean, we're in Gettysburg, might as well just drive through, give you guys a little tour of the battlefields at Gettysburg. If you haven't seen them, we'll just do kind of a drive through so you can get a little bit of a history lesson. So right now we're on Emmitsburg Road. The main battlefield here is actually to our right. We're gonna take a turn up here when we can, get you guys in there so you can take a look at it. So to your right there is the peach orchard. That is commonly referenced to in Gettysburg battlefield history. Peach orchard's over there to your right. This stuff is just so cool, the history here. When you live close by these things, you really tend to take them for granted. I lived in Washington, D.C. and very close by for many years, and it was just kind of a thing that you did. You went to D.C. and you don't really think about the other people that are across the country who don't have that luxury of just going to see the birthplace of your nation and major areas that impacted and influenced the nation that we live in. And Gettysburg is definitely one of those trips where you can knock it out in a weekend easily, but there's just so much history here. There's just a sense of solemnness as you walk. You can't walk on the battlefields, but as you walk through them on the paths, and even just driving by, it's just very, I don't know the word for it. You can feel the heaviness around here, not to be dramatic or anything, but it really is an amazing experience. There's a lot to do, a lot to see. Gettysburg is a really, really cool town to walk through. The food is great. The architecture is amazing. Every building has history here, which is, I think, what makes this just a really cool experience. You're going to see, hopefully we get this in picture. I'm going to make sure we do. Little Round Top is over here to your left.
You, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, do solemnly swear.
I, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, do solemnly swear.
That you will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
That I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of your ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
We observe today not a victory of party, but a celebration of freedom, symbolizing an end as well as a beginning, signifying renewal as well as change. For I have sworn before you and Almighty God the same solemn oath our forebears prescribed nearly a century and 3/4 ago. The world is very different now, for man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life. And yet the same revolutionary beliefs for which our forebears fought are still at issue around the globe. The belief that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God. We dare not forget today that we are the heirs of that first revolution. Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century, tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace, proud of our ancient heritage, and unwilling to witness or permit the slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed In your hands, my fellow citizens, more than mine, will rest the final success or failure of our course. Since this country was founded, each generation of Americans has been summoned to give testimony to its national loyalty. The graves of young Americans who answered the call to service surround the globe. Now the trumpet summons us again, not as a call to bear arms, though arms we need, not as a call to battle, though in battle we are, but a call to bear the burden of a long twilight struggle, year in and year out, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, a struggle against the common enemies of man, tyranny, poverty, disease, and war itself. In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man.